Okay, so it begins. Where are we and what's happening? April. I'm gonna assume we're in the same place because you're watching YouTube, I'm on YouTube, and since we're both in the same place, my daughters are in this room. I am training them. I am giving them media training. It's very necessary. This is part of my plan for the future of the company, the future of my family, the future of the human race, the future of the world. I believe we need to train our children to accompany us to work. They must see us working. I think that I'll get into the who, what, where, why, and how and stuff in a second, but there's this interesting phenomenon by which social and class stability is produced by separating children from their parents. I believe that separating children from their parents is one of the key mechanisms involved in keeping the British ruling class in power during the height of the British Empire. The reason, like, why send kids to boarding school? Why make it the fashion to send upper class kids to boarding school? Well, because you don't want families competing. You want people to be loyal to the state and to the society above their own family. So you must separate them from their family and make sure that their identity consolidates around school, the system, their peers who are also having their identity with the system. So interesting phenomenon that happens in the United States of America. In middle school, I was taken from my peers who I had grown up with, essentially, and I was placed with twice as many, well, 3 times as many, because it was my peers, then another group of, like, another town, then another town, so it was 3 towns instead of just 1 town. So I had the feeling that I can now label as being invaded. I felt like my homeland had been invaded, and all the social bonds that had grown up for the past, like, 6 years were thrown completely haywire. We were separated from our peers. I was thrown in with like completely isolated. I was thrown into like a team. It's called teams. So you're not even like interacting with the whole of the other. Like they literally create artificial towns. So they say, okay, there's red team, green team, and blue team, and it would just be a town's worth of kids per grade. But the real benefit of this is that you get to isolate children from the friends they grew up with. And one of the things I've realized is that people process information through peer groups. They process information through social networks. So when you destroy a social network like that, you cripple a child's ability to process complex information. So instantly, everyone in my middle school became far worse. They all agreed afterward in high school. They're all like, yeah, that was horrible. We don't talk about middle school. That was very common. We don't talk about middle school. Why is that? Well, because everyone was traumatized by the fact that that the networks they'd spent the last 6 years building have been destroyed, and it kind of settles in, you build your high school identity, and then boom, same thing in college, except now your family's gone. And you're being loaded with a bunch of communist propaganda. It's just communist propaganda. I'm not even going to get into that because there's so much communist propaganda that to get into the communist propaganda would be what they want. Like, they want you to focus on how much they're brainwashing you, so you don't actually build systems that allow you to resist the brainwashing. Because again, like I said, people think through social networks, and removing people from social networks makes it so that they can't think properly. So really, we don't need to focus on what they're doing to cripple our ability to think. We need to focus on what we're doing in order to think. Just a brief aside, I think the same thing happened to the British, and it's just, you want to do that to people because it prevents them from rebelling, because then they don't really know their own family, because they just spent the last, 15 years doing homework in school, not working with their family, not seeing their parents. Like, some psychologists said that children will actually assume that their fathers are doing shameful things if they can't see what they're doing throughout the day. They said, it's almost like they become afraid of, it's like, well, where's dad? Like, where is he? Like, why can't we see him? And it's like this weird, I didn't assume my father was doing shameful things, but I didn't know what he was doing. I mean, I went to like work, like he has projects I go help him with and stuff, so that was very helpful. But basically, I mean, so I think I'm blessed in that sense that I actually like got to like see my father working, so that I have like a sense of that. That's probably why I want to raise my kids in the same way. But basically, you need to see your kid, like your kids need to see you working, or they don't know what work is. And since school doesn't teach you how to make money or how to live, where are you going to learn that? You're not. You're going to be a slave who doesn't know how to make his own money, doesn't know how to live. So he's dependent and doesn't have his own social network because it's been disrupted how many times? Oh, and how much does let's get to where we are. Like, where are we? We are in, well, right now, most of my viewers are in the United States of America. If you're not in the United States of America, I'm so sorry for your loss. There's still time before your governments go completely 1984 on you and shut down any ability for you to actually leave. It's pretty cool. You can actually speak your mind here on social media without getting arrested. Let's keep that going. So, where are we? We are in the 21st century. What does that mean? Well, it's been 21 centuries since the birth of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Or my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Don't know if he's yours, but, and again, no judgment either way. I didn't start believing in God, and that's a whole thing. But basically, where are we? I really want to like hammer into this. Where are we? And what is happening? So we are in interesting times. I'll focus on the United States of America because if you're not in the United States of America, you gotta get there. Like, where are you if you're not in the United States of America? I don't really know. I didn't grow up there. I could get into that. It's already enough to focus on where I am. Where are we? Where are we in history? Where are we in terms of ideas? Where are we politically? Where are we ideologically? I think we're in not the worst position. Where are we? You know, that's interesting. So we're not all in the same place. That's for sure. We're not all in the same place. But we're all in the same time right now. Like, if you're watching me in this moment, maybe you're watching me from the future. This is interesting. Where are we? We're all over the place. You might be watching this video the day after I make it. You might be watching this video today. You might be watching this video 100 years from now. Where are we? Well, we're between birth and the grave, for sure. Girls? Thank you. We're between birth and the grave, for sure. I have those books, April, if you want to read those picture books. They're really good. You want to be in the video? No. No, you have to be quiet. I don't want you to be in the video. No, you can't be in another video. So April and we are in different places mentally right now. This is interesting. Where are we and what's happening? Wow. So I don't think I can really say where we are, you know? This is interesting. I'm learning my own limitations as I make this video. I can't say where we are. I can say where I am, though. I'm in the United States of America. I'm at a public library. I am in the state of New Hampshire. I am currently, where am I? I know I'm with you, April.
You are, because I want to make a video.
Okay, April, I need you to get out of the video right now or I'm going to become angry with you and we have to spank you because you're disobeying me. This is a test of your ability to obey me. Where am I? I am figuring things out. I'm in this process of figuring things out. So where am I and what's happening? Where am I? I'm in a pretty good position, honestly. I'm looking for a house right now. That's not where I am, though. Where am I? Maybe if I could answer this question, I'd be able to answer all my other questions. I think that's why I'm proposing this question to myself. Where am I, you know? It's the orienting reflex. Where am I? Between birth and the grave, I am... Well, it's also what's happening to me. So where am I? Just physical location. Where am I at mentally? I'm at... I guess where am I mentally? I'll focus where am I mentally. I'm doing really well. I'm pretty stable. Stability is always nice. You can build on stability. It's hard to build on instability. Girls, out of the frame. I am well situated within the requirements that comprise my existence. What is happening? What's happening is... April, take your hands off my mouth. What's happening right now is that my 2 daughters are disobeying me, and they need to obey me and get out of the frame and go read the picture books that I got for them. Can you go do that for me, April? No way. So this is interesting. This is actually, I'll focus on this. I'll focus on this as a phenomenon. Maybe I'll bring them into the video. I'll bring you into the video if you can be quiet. But actually, no, you have to go read books for 10 minutes first. 10 minutes, and then you can come in the video. Deal?
Deal.
Handshake?
Deal.
Okay, 10 minutes of reading, and then video. So, I'm gonna look at my watch. I always keep my deals. You gotta always keep your deals with your kids. It's the basis of everything. So, where am I? I am situated... I guess I'm saying where am I in time ultimately by doing this? I'm situated between a society... This is interesting. This is all going to come into focus in just a second. I'm going to drink some water. Give myself a minute. This is good, you know? I want to make videos like this because this is really the crux of it. I'm not trying to tell you... I'm lecturing in the style of Jordan Peterson. I'm not trying to tell you something I know for sure. I'm trying to figure things out while I speak. So you can see the process by which I reason, because that itself is far more valuable than the things that I reason. The things I reason are insanely valuable, but the process I use to determine them is of far greater value. Keeping an eye on the time, so you guys keep an eye on the time. I know I keep my word to my kids. It's very important. So, I'll just get down to it. I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated, but I'm not frustrated at the same time. It's this, I'll walk into the tension. Let's walk into the tension. I'll try to find the tension. This is why I like not taking Adderall. Even though I'm prescribed Adderall for ADHD, I do have, as many of you so astutely pointed out. I prefer to not take it after being immunized against the latent mental orientalism that comes with it, as I described in my video yesterday, because it resolves the tension into what is. The tension of what is becoming is resolved into the tension of what is, which is not so tense. And that seems to be where everyone else is. I am where things are becoming. That's just where my mind is always at. I'm frustrated because, honestly, I live in a society full of fucking idiots. Like, this is really like the source of my frustration. Like, let's get into the source of my frustration. So, I'm pissed off that I live in a society full of morons. Because ultimately, I went to public school in Massachusetts, one of the best public schools in Massachusetts. Should have been good, I love reading. I love math. I'm good at reading, I'm good at math. So you'd think I would be loved by my teachers. No. They hated me for being good at reading and math. They did. They really did. And this is why I say that people fucked up badly. Like, people like me were not supposed to exist. Let's go back to British boarding schools and stuff. Schools were supposed to be run by competent people to find competent people and funnel them into positions where they can be useful and not disruptive. That is what society exists to do. Because if you don't have competent people in positions where they can be useful, then useful things do not occur. If you cannot put competent people in positions where they can be useful, those competent people will become frustrated and they will disrupt the system, as I am doing. This is the case with like militaries. Like one of the principal I'll go with religion. Carl Jung said that one of the principal functions of organized religion is to prevent people, those books, yes, is to prevent people from having religious experiences. That is one of the principal. April, you're interrupting me. So now the timer resets, another 10 minutes. You have to be quiet for 10 minutes, then you can come in the video. Okay, 1 second, I'll show you. Pay attention, people on YouTube. This is how you learn how to parent, which people really struggle with, I guess. So when this hand hits here, if you don't talk until then you can come in the video. But I need you to learn this skill, April. This is not about punishing you. This is not about today. This is about the next 50 years. If you learn this skill, then we're going to have a really easy time of it. If you don't learn this skill, you're just going to learn the skill because I'm going to make sure you learn the skill, and that's all it is. I love you, April. Thank you for being here with me. I really appreciate you. In 10 minutes. You have to be quiet for 10 minutes, though. I'm training you. I want you to learn the skill of being quiet for 10 minutes while I'm doing this. I don't really care if you want to be trained. You do want to be trained, though. You do, because you ultimately want to do things with me, and you want to have experiences in life that require that you be trained. So you do. So, basically, okay. So let's say you have like Genghis Khan was really good at this. Like, let's say you're a military leader and you go conquer a land. You want to find the people that would start the rebellion, and you want to put them in positions of power. Because then they're too busy to start the rebellion. That's what you want to do. That's your goal as a ruler, is to find the people who would start the rebellion and put them in positions of power so they can't do anything. That's what the United States government does really well with politics. We find all the most power-hungry, egomaniacal individuals, and we just force them to argue in a really frustrating system that makes things happen super slow. It's really effective. It creates great stability, and it also cultivates very intense politicians. Like, you get really, really crafty, devilish people doing that, and that's ultimately good, because if someone attacked the United States, I'd hope that all the politicians would team up to oust them. But I kind of doubt that would happen. You need a unified vision for America and stuff, and there's a lot of things that go into that. But the basic tension is that I have not only great intelligence, motivation, and ability, but that the very system that was meant... So Genghis Khan, I'll bring up Genghis Khan for just a second. Genghis Khan was very good at promoting people into positions where they could do no harm. That was one of his great skills. Like an archer nearly shot him, he made him like a general. And it's like, why would he do that? It's like, because he's showing you, who else is going to show you that kind of clemency? You're doing a good job, April. I'm noticing you're doing a good job. You need to go pee, Katarina? So Genghis Khan was good at that. Wait 2 minutes, Katarina. I'll take you to go pee. I'm not going to make her wait till the whole video is done. That would be cruel. April, if you come into the frame, you mess it up. And then you have to wait another 10 minutes. It's about self-control. No, I know it's annoying. I know it's really annoying. Oh, you stamped your foot at me. Now you can't. Nope.
I'm sorry.
Drink water, Katarina. So, not only did the elementary school system confiscate the Odyssey from me because they deemed it inappropriate for a fourth grader, not only was I bullied by my 5th grade teacher for being good at math, where she would call me up in front of the class to embarrass me, but only end up embarrassing herself when she couldn't do the basic math she was trying to embarrass me with, and I could better than her, and she'd get things wrong, and it's just math, so I could just continuously demonstrate that what she was doing was incorrect. They just hated me, and I just wanted them to actually appreciate me for being a dedicated student. That was really what I wanted more than anything, was just to be appreciated for being a dedicated student and wanting to learn. And all I got was scorn, spite, insults. I had to go to the superintendent to have grades overturned at different points in time because of just unfair grading, like just purely unfair grading. There's one specific incident that sticks out very strongly. And that wasn't even the worst teacher, because he actually was just such an idiot that it was so obvious to prove that he was just spitefully targeting me. And honestly, that kind of just tells you the system, because the fact that he was so confident in his ability to do that he didn't even, like, it was an organic chem class that I created, like, with the consent of the school, and he was supposed to supervise it. And without any graded rubric or anything, just decides to fail me after I did every single thing that was required of me. And it was just super obvious. We were just like, well, where's the requirements that were written up for the class? And he was like, I don't have any requirements. So how do you fail someone if there's no requirements? And it's like, there were requirements, he just wouldn't produce them because they made him look bad. It's just disgusting. Like, it's absolutely disgusting. UMass Amherst is the same thing. Like, okay, like, I'll have to make an entire episode. It's going to be like a 3-hour episode that's just everything wrong with my schooling. That's something I'm going to have to do. I'm going to write that down to do that. Make a 3-hour episode of everything wrong with my schooling. This is good. Making a lot of progress. Make a 3-hour episode of everything wrong with my schooling. I wouldn't even get to everything. Like, there's honestly not even, because I'm remembering more stuff as I even think about this, there's not even a way for me to get to every single messed up thing about my school experience, because it was just one messed up thing after another. Like, the entire thing was shit from beginning to end. It was absolute garbage. And this frustrates me because not only was it garbage, but I did very well in school. I took all honors classes in high school. I took AP classes. I did dual enrollment in local colleges my senior year of high school. I was an all-star wrestler. I scored, I think, like the highest or second highest on the SAT of anyone at my school. I was just like all around like the guy you'd want. You know, I wanted to help out. I was like a Boy Scout. Like, I was just like I don't know. Like, you know how I just make tons of videos to help people, and I'm super explanative, and if you leave a comment where you ask a thoughtful question, I just get back to you. Like, you see this, like this guy, like, you see how I'm raising my kids to like be good people. Like, I don't know, I don't know. This is just who I am. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to be all like, look at me, I'm so fucking virtuous. It's like, I'm doing all of this selfishly. This is all completely selfish, because if I lived differently, my life would suck. The benefit of virtue is that your life is good. But the problem with all this is that we live in a society that seems to care very little for virtue. They care a lot for pleasing teacher. They care a lot for the ability to regurgitate nonsense. The society, like, and C.S. Lewis even called this out back in like 1940s, 1950s. He was like, okay, this is like one of his essays. He says, he's like, when you give a student a poem to analyze, he's like, first of all, it's interesting that we like make students read poetry in school, because what we've done by doing that is created a poetry industry that caters to a forced audience. He's like, no other genre, no other work of art has ever been privileged to have a forced audience. But through the school system, poetry and certain types of literature have a forced audience. So there is a feedback loop by which those who do well in school go on to write the literature that is then forced down the throats of the next generation. And according to their ability to successfully regurgitate the agreed upon interpretation, they are then permitted to create the material that will then be shoved down the throat of the next generation. And what this does is create a despotic feedback loop. It creates a feedback loop by which only certain ideas are permitted. Only certain ways of interpretation are allowed. And that's a Marxist interpretation, generally speaking. And even if it's not a Marxist interpretation, I would say the interpretation, I would say even Marxism itself is a byproduct of Orientalism. Marxism, I would say, is Orientalism. The idea that history is merely class warfare is Oriental history. That's Oriental history. Like, that is what Oriental history is racially based class warfare. Marxism is Orientalism. So, essentially, I think that Orientalism infects the West through nepotism and through despotism. It's quite simple. It's like, okay, so you have Mycenaean Greece and the Minoans and stuff, and they come into this incredibly advanced civilization that's just like so much more sophisticated artistically and individually than any civilization that has been documented before. And they basically become, I mean, you see this in the Odyssey. It's like nepotism. Like, how does nepotism work? It's like nepotism is just sort of this like blind force of, well, I don't know if the Odyssey is the best example of nepotism, because then you get the Bronze Age collapse like right after the Odyssey. So it might not be the best example of nepotism, but Egypt is the best example of nepotism, honestly. But basically, let's say you have a bunch of individuals innovate, they create new ideas. Let's start with the brick. Okay, like, let's get biblical here. Let's start with the brick. The invention of the brick precedes the building of the Tower of Babel. So, and it's useful mentally to think this way because it helps you understand how simple advances create massive structures. So a brick allows you to build infinitely high because now you don't have to transport massive stone. You only have to transport a little brick, and you just stack them. So and you can build where you are. You can just make bricks where you are. You don't have to like quarry stone and then transport it hundreds of thousands of miles or whatever, 40 miles, 10 miles, even a mile. You can just make bricks and then just build with the bricks where you made the bricks. So someone figures out how to make a brick. Cool, we got bricks. Now that person builds a big tower. Now they use that tower to store grain. And now that they have stored grain, or other people can't really store their grain as effectively, this person's allowed to like basically get industrial with grain. They can like produce as much grain as they want because they can just store it. And now they can start kind of like building a little economy around this grain tower they've got. And now they're trading and stuff, so they get a little surplus. And then they start making more bricks, building more towers, hiring people to do that, hiring people to defend the brick towers, and you basically see, and then now what does the guy who built the brick not want? The guy who's got a monopoly on bricks, like what does he not want? He doesn't want someone coming along and building a catapult. Because if someone builds a catapult, they're going to destroy his brick towers. So now, like in Dune, the biggest priority of the power structure now becomes the suppression of new technology. Because new technology creates new opportunity, which is simply not the old opportunity that there was a monopoly of. And we see this in like the Catholic Church. I think a lot of the witch hunts were this sort of a thing. It's like we're the people who give the medicine. You can't go giving other people medicine because you're not us. And it's like you could say, well, the witches were evil, or well, the church was evil. And it's like everyone's got their justifications. I'm just describing incentive structures. That's all I want to do. I don't really want to pass moral judgment on people. I think that I like how Camille Paglia said that it is not the art, it's not the morals. It is the order in morals that attracts reforming minds to art, not the morals in the order. So again, I'm not really interested in the morals in the order. I'm interested in the order in the morals. I'm interested in the incentive structure that creates the behavior. Okay, but you've done a good job waiting. You can come sit here now. Be quiet. You did do a good job listening. So now that, so I'm just focusing on the incentive structure. So it's like, yeah, maybe there were like witches performing abortions and stuff. Maybe there were witches helping people poison people. I'm sure there were priests and stuff doing the same thing. And it's like, well, they can say, well, it's just how it is. You know what I mean? Like everyone's got their shadow. The benevolent king is also the evil tyrant. It's like, it's all the same thing. I want to scratch my watch, but whatever. It's G-Shock. G-Shock. I don't want to. It's like I keep bumping it into things, and I'm like, am I going to scratch it? Who fucking cares, you know? Actually, I think I scratched some of the wood off of this. Wow, that's a tough watch. Okay, so that's how the incentive structures work. So they don't want people innovating. They don't, like, innovation is not really encouraged because innovation creates instability. And I think that, I mean, unless, I don't know, like there's this interesting phenomenon throughout the West where innovations were suppressed, but they were also kind of encouraged. Like there was that king who they brought him the unbreakable glass, and then they had the guy beheaded because he didn't want anyone to be able to make the glass that was unbreakable. There's a lot of this back and forth, but in the West, it seems as though we've sort of favored freedom. We favored a bit more freedom, though I imagine a lot of the witch burnings of medieval Europe were simply peasants murdering their brethren because their brethren dared think themselves good enough to make something new. I think that was probably very, and this is just based on how people treat me. Like, people, honestly, like, people are only really kind to me when I can help them. As far as, like, my insights into health, medicine, and everything go. Like, they're really only kind to me business as far as I can help them. And as soon as I can't help them, they don't really give a shit. Like, if you use the test of the measure of a person is how he treats those who could do nothing for him. Yes, April? There is something in there. Those are my keys. So I keep thinking back to like Elliot Hulse when he said, if you were to come live with me, I would break your heart. And I imagine that's because he probably thought that the way that he was raising his family would make people, like, I don't know. I mean, I think that like public image wants to see more of what's actually going on than the curated Orientalism of the immobile Japanese general who only raises signs. They want to see the passion and the verve and the reality of a Napoleon, which is why I predict that there will be many Napoleons that arise, because our modern insistence on equality is precisely like the insistence on equality during the French Revolution that precipitated Napoleon. So fascinating, so fascinating, so fascinating. So,
Can you give me a hug?
I will give you a hug, April Grace. Oh, I just love you. You're just perfect. You're just perfect, and you're my April. No. So why are you putting my hood on? So, basically, yeah, people don't really want new technologies. We kind of, like, even nuclear right now, like, we're suppressing nuclear, we're suppressing flight, we're suppressing medicine. Yeah, I mean, literally, like, look at our society right now. We suppress medicine. medicine is super suppressed. You're only allowed to work on medicine if you've been indoctrinated to the nth degree by the same ideology that I believe we've imported from Europe. I think that I see a very interesting history. I'll have to make another episode on the real history of the West. I think that would be, or the real history of Western freedom. The real history of Western, April, chill, freedom. The real history of Western freedom. That'd be a good episode. But basically, though, unless you've been indoctrinated into the system, where literally at UMass as a freshman, they were forcing me to write essays. I didn't write them because screw those people. But they were trying to force me to write essays on how it was discriminatory against trans people to have a trans woman, like a man, a biological man, in the biological male wing of the hospital because, I don't know, like the teacher's retarded, I guess. Like, I don't know, you know. I love the word retarded. Like, that's just such a great word to use for liberals who don't, or not even liberals, they're not really liberal, for just people who don't like when you use the word retarded. They are the perfect people to call retarded. Like, they're the retards. I wouldn't call, like, someone with intense autism retarded, because they're usually not nearly as retarded as the people who don't like the word retarded. Those are the most retarded people I have ever met in my entire life. Because retarded was actually supposed to be a kind word for idiot. And it's just this endless history of policing how you speak so they can police how you think, because they don't want you to think, because Pharaoh really never got over the fact that his slaves left Egypt. He just didn't get over it. It's just, he's really, really, really sore about it, and that's why things are the way they are right now. So my frustration is basically that, and there was one doctor, Dr. Johnson, who I talked to, but she, again, I wasn't asking her for help. I was more informing her, April, don't put your fingers under my shoe. Okay. I love you, April. I didn't mean to hurt you, but if you put your finger under my shoe, that's just what happens. Is your finger okay? Yeah. Give me a kiss. Okay. So basically, though, where was I? Oh, there you are, April. So retarded. I'm trying to remember where I was in this. Oh, my frustration. So basically, Dr. Johnson, DO, she was really cool. She was pretty chill. Like, she was actually, like, I told her about the insomnia, but that was at the tail end of it. I wasn't really asking her for any help. I was just kind of, like, telling her what I'd done to solve the problem. So I think she probably would have, Katarina, don't play with the fire extinguisher, please. I don't think she would have reacted any better than the other two doctors I've had. But the other two doctors I've had in my lifetime were, like, when I tell them what my symptoms were, they looked at me like they wished I was dead. A little bit. There's a flashed across their face, like just sort of like they just did not like the fact that I was there telling them that. And then everything that happened afterward was just, like I would just tell them, like, I can't sleep at all. And they'd be like, what drugs are you on? I'm like, I'm not taking any drugs. And then, like, they just don't believe you. They didn't believe me. The way they treated me made me feel like if I insisted that I was telling the truth, they would have had me Baker acted and locked up as a lunatic. Yeah, I mean, this is so, I don't know why I would expect. I mean, literally, so I got hired by Dr. Keith Avlo before his, I don't think he did. I think that whole scandal that Keith Avlo went through was just complete bullshit. I think it was just complete bullshit. And everyone that worked for him, including like the woman with children, whose children worked for him, they were like, it's complete bullshit. He didn't do any of that. So, but before, like, I applied to like work for him, I told him my whole story and he had no interest. Next time I told him how I could help him, he was very interested. No one cares. No one cares about my suffering. No one cares about the fact that I lose the ability to sleep. No one cares about the other people who lose the ability to sleep. No one cares that we're not on drugs. No one cares that we're not crazy. No one cares that we're suffering like insanely. No one cares. It's not them, it's just inconvenient to them. And you know what I realized? I realized the reason they don't care is because they weren't rewarded in school for caring about the right answer. They were rewarded in school for caring about the answer, April, underneath. They were rewarded in school for caring about the answer the teacher wanted. And the teacher right now is the medical board. And the medical board doesn't recognize blah, 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 in like total agorapenia exciata. So total insomnia. They don't recognize that really. I mean, they actually are starting to. Well, the board hasn't, but there are other doctors that do because the medical system moves slow as shit. And honestly, I think the only reason they've even recognized that is because I've freaking spent the last over 10 years talking about it to everyone who will listen. So, and they still don't even recognize, they never even tried dietary interventions. April, please stop bothering me. What is it?
Are you going to leave just a second after you finish your video?
We're going to leave soon-ish. Maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I don't know. I'm going to make the video. We're going to make this video. And you're going to sit here, and I'm going to train you to be my little helper. And when you're older, you're going to make these videos with me. You can even make these videos with me when I'm done making this point. You can make the video with me. We can do it together. Would you like that?
Yeah.
Okay. So in 10 minutes, you can make the video with me. Deal?
Deal.
Just sit there. Sit tight. Okay. And the reason I don't give it to her immediately is because if I do, then I'm rewarding disruption rather than rewarding compliance. And ultimately, I can then focus, once the compliance is down, I can then focus on specific manifestations of that later. Because again, this is just the first time I've actually done this with my kids. This is the first time I've made a video with my kids at a public library. So as a librarian probably listening and I'm thinking that I'm like a white supremacist or something. Because like, I don't know, like maybe she isn't. I'm just probably judging her, it's whatever. But like, I don't know, like I feel like, I feel very dismissed by basically everyone except for my father, my mother, my brother, some close friends, and the people whose lives I've saved. Everyone else just loves to dismiss me, like there was someone I was like friends with during COVID, and she used to like love that I was such a rebel, like she was just like, she would talk to me about, like, isn't it so crazy that people just don't understand you, Devin? And then I didn't wear a mask to an event that she never asked me to wear a mask to. But she kind of like hinted through other people in very indirect ways. But never asked me, never had the conversation. And when I did wear the mask, just haven't heard from that person ever since. People love to like make excuses to write you off. I think a lot of it is ultimately because people are really afraid. I think people see what is happening in terms of the suppression. Like I was talking about the suppression of information in medicine is suppressed. Like you can't, again, it's like by the time you're educated enough to do any work on the subject, you're already so specialized and you've been trained to think in such a myopic way that you're basically incapable of looking at, like you need someone, like Nietzsche says, who can stand above the system. You need someone who can actually stand above the system and someone who can look at it from multiple different fields. Like I think honestly that everyone in the medical field would be seeing what I'm seeing if they were looking at what I'm looking at, but they're not because, again, fiat currency, the feedback loop between the educational system and the medical system, these things have created a drill and they've dug themselves into a hole. And they're just going to keep digging. Like they've dug themselves into a hole where they believe the only things that help people are drugs. And by God, they're just going to keep digging. They're just going to keep digging. And I try not to do that myself. I try not to dig myself into a hole where I think the only thing that's going to help people is carnivore. April, thank you for not talking, but it hasn't been 10 minutes yet. It's been almost 10 minutes, and then you can make the video with me. 5 more minutes. Sit. So, hello? Close the door, thank you. So, basically, they've drilled themselves into a hole. The only thing that they think works is drugs. And then physics, we're not allowed to look into nuclear. Anytime you write an equation that has anything to do with nuclear physics, it's instantly classified information, so you can't even look at it. And aviation. Howard Hughes could not exist today because you're not allowed to do really any work in aviation. So really our freedom to innovate has been massively restricted. The one thing you can do is you can sit down, you can think, you can map out this entire giant pattern of mental oppression, and you can talk about it on YouTube without the secret police showing up at your house and kidnapping you just yet. Though actually, I don't know about that because of that kidnapping case of that woman. Maybe they do kidnap you. I don't know. Keep watching me and you'll see if they kidnap me. I don't know. Like I've just been dying from nothing my whole life for so long that, like, honest to God, I don't effing care. Like, I do care, obviously, but, like, oh, I don't know, like, I've thought things through enough to the point where I think that what I've done now is sufficient so that if I was politically targeted or assassinated, it would be very, very, very bad for those people who are doing it. And that's really what I want to create, is a system where it would be very, 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 very bad for anyone to try to assassinate me or stop me from doing this. Like, I want to create a system, like, and that's the benefit of doing this, is that I'm building this on a basis of people that I've helped. So ultimately, people who are very invested in what I'm doing are invested in what I'm doing because I'm helping people and helping them overcome total insomnia and autoimmune issues and other related problems. And they're invested in me for those reasons. And, well, wouldn't you know, me talking about that stuff, like, you'd be like Dr. Sebi, like all these people who supposedly were helping people cure illnesses with natural methods, and they all just die. So now I'm like, okay, well, now I've got to go the paranoid rabbit hole. And now I have to basically talk about world domination. I've always been interested in world domination, in such a way that if they kill me, all it does is validate all of the thoughts that led to my thesis on world domination in such a way that makes it very, 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 very easy for anyone to go and cut up all of my videos and make a nice, sweet documentary that they show to every single person on the internet about exactly what's going on. So that's why it's very important that I do this now, while there's still enough people who are motivated in spreading the truth, that the incentive structure works. The only thing I really need to do is I need to inspire more people to talk about world domination so that I kind of blend in with the herd until it becomes obvious that I'm the only one who's thought that through in like 10 or 20 years. So that's just kind of how it goes, I guess, because ultimately, like I said, once you create innovation, like the brick, you kind of have to keep building because they're going to kill you because your monopoly on that idea threatens the existing power structure. And that's the thing about taking over the world. So you can always stop short of taking over the world, but you can never start taking over the world once the person who's taking over the world decides they're going to kill you. Like, you can't go from like, I'm just a humble scientist to I'm dominating the world, fear me. That doesn't work. They just crush you. But you can go from I'm going to dominate the world, fear me, to aren't the innovations in science I made great? Wink, wink, clap, or I start again. Like, that's very much in the spirit of things. So April, it has now been 10 minutes. Would you like to come join the video and share your thoughts?
In the video.
Yes, Katarina, you need to go read books. If you want to read books for 10 minutes, you can then come in the video. It's just the way it is, Katarina, kid. So, I'm sure the woman who's listening in on my conversation in the library is actually very nice. I don't know. Like, she came right in the room, like, after, like, I had to, like, I had to I literally after April spanked her foot at me at the end of the last clip, I spanked her, and she comes right in the room, and it just really rubbed me the wrong way because I'm like, I don't know, maybe. But I mean, maybe she doesn't know that I'm in the room, you know, like, I don't know. It's whatever. It's whatever. I'm irritated, and then I'm kind of projecting a little bit of that irritation, but that's fine, because it's just motivation to talk more. And then if I talk, I figure out that I'm really not irritated at this person, I'm just irritated at this other circumstance and whatever, and then I'm projecting, because everyone projects. So in the same way that she might think, he's a neo-Nazi or something, I'm like, she's a liberal, like she's a liberal leftist lunatic or something. It's all stupid because we're really both at the library. So we really both believe in reading, and as long as we read books on history, we can come to a good conclusion. Caterina, we already went to the bathroom. You can do it again. Okay, drink more water, we'll go in 5 minutes. So, and that's my own thing, you know, like I hope she's still listening. I hope she hears me feeling bad for judging her, you know? I hope she does, because I do. Fuck it. Oh, God. You know, life is strange, but so am I. I like that song by Lord Huron. So, what's going on? Why the world domination angle? You know, I just feel like talking to people recently, like I feel like people perceive this control that is seeping into absolutely everything, and it makes them very afraid. And because they don't want to, I think they shut their brains off before they even realize what they're doing, because I think that that's sort of like the impulse of most people. I mean, I don't know, it's probably my impulse as well to a large degree. Like, I don't know. I guess like I didn't shut off my brain when I started experiencing fatal insomnia. But my brain started shutting off because it was experiencing fatal insomnia. So I don't know. Trauma definitely deactivates the Broca's area. And if what I suggested about schooling is correct, then there's already, I mean, again, because this is the thing. It's like if you go to school, hi, April Grace, you can come in the video. I told you can come in the video. If you go to school and you feel like your social group, because it's like in like 6th grade, you know what I mean? It's like, I kind of know you, I kind of know you, I kind of know you. So the teacher says something I disagree with, I go, yo, teach, that's wrong or something. Maybe I don't do that because that's impolite, but I raise my hand and be like, teacher, I think that that's incorrect. And then the teacher goes, well, actually, blah, blah, blah. I'd feel more confidence if I knew that like Danny over here was going to chime in and be like, no, that actually, you know what I'm saying? But if you remove me from my peers, I don't know what's happening anymore. It's like I've been sold into slavery. I'm just like, oh, who's going to stand up for me? I don't know. Just be quiet. And then my brain shuts off. And I think people are just in that state pretty much constantly. And I think it's bad for their soul. I think it's bad for the world. I think that I think it's the reason why people don't really talk about stuff. I mean, it's like, why is there like a left and a right? It's like, because people are so effing terrified that they're like, we need to segregate ourselves into useless groups that can't accomplish anything on their own so that we don't have to fear the consequences of our own discussion. It's basically the reason. So why am I talking about taking over the world? So the reason I'm talking about taking over the world is because I realized this. And what I realized is that fundamentally, if people don't feel like they have the ability to take over the world, if they don't feel like we the people have the power, if they don't see someone who believes we the people have the power, then they are not going to, feel courageous. They're not going to feel like there's any actual utility in them thinking. Because, I mean, why would I think if I could never act? And why would I act if acting only draws attention to me and then I get destroyed? And this is like Orientalism. This is the archer, the terracotta archer who's kneeling. And the tour guide told me, see, he is kneeling. If you kneel and do not stand out, you will be spared. Like Orientalism, you know? Like that's just how they think in the Orient. But little old me, I'm racist. You know, I've only been to these countries and talked to these people, and I continue to do so, you know. Like typical racists, I love to go actually discuss ideas with the people that I have ideas about. Can you bring that back? Oh, Cat, no, get out of the electrical. It's the fun thing about taking kids somewhere, you know? And this is the thing. It's like, why do people put their kids in public school? Because it's hard. This is challenging. This is actually challenging. You know, I've been doing this for a while. It's still somewhat challenging. It's like, April, and productively. It's challenging. It's it's very challenging to.
Can I make one too?
Henry, do you still have to pee? You do have to pee?
I need pee. I need pee.
Okay, you hold it for 2 minutes, and then I think I can
Daddy?
maybe wrap this up. I don't know if I'm gonna wrap this up. No.
Daddy?
Yes.
Can I make my own video?
Um.
And I'll let you make your own video. I'll be great.
No, you can only be in my videos right now. You can make your own videos when you're older.
Well, I'm still a big girl. I really want to. Okay, so I just fell to the ground as baby because he just wanted to. I'm just ridiculous and pathetic and.
What? Don't say you're ridiculous and pathetic. I've never said that about you.
You did.
No, I didn't.
Alright. Okay.
So this is probably from a TV show that they're getting this. So I'm gonna have to do
Dad,
more
okay, Dad,
on what they're
Dad,
watching on
Dad,
TV.
Dad, you're in my video.
No, this is my video.
I'm in your video because I want to be in your video because I want to make mine. So I'm just tired.
But this is hard though. This is why people put their kids in public school.
Dad.
Hey, but let me talk. Go get a chair and then you can stand up on the chair and you'll be in the video. So it's hard. Like it's challenging to do this. It's challenging to think these thoughts. And a lot of it is just the fact that so when people see me talking about taking over the world, they feel more then like, oh, how are you gonna do that? And it's the basic idea is go watch my video on how to take over the world because I have a video on that. So you just go watch that. I don't have to like reiterate it. I mean, this is where I am and what's going on right now. This is good. This is like a good representation of where I am and what's going on. I'm healthy, becoming healthier. Got my children. I'm raising them. Love them very much, and they're wonderful. And I mean, this is like wonderful. You know what I mean? Like, I think people have too high of expectations for their children's behavior. Sometimes it's like I have high expectations, but I also like I expect them to fall short of my high expectations, but to progressively get better.
Can I make a video first? Please?
You are making a video.
Okay, so I just felt Dad just spanked me because I'm just tired and I want to go home.
No, I spanked you because you kept disobeying me, and then you stamped your foot at me when I told you not to.
Oh.
That's why.
That's right. So I just fell over and then I just tripped at my house and the baby came. The baby just came.
Yeah, we just did have a new baby.
Yeah, we had a new baby because you guys can come over to my house.
No, they can't come over to our house.
You can't
We don't know
come.
them. They're on the internet.
You can't on the internet because I don't like you to come over to my house and see the baby and hold it. She's very expensive, a baby. Okay, because I just don't want to bring her. Run around, go around, eat mommy. Run around, go around, eat mommy. Do that.
Anything else, April?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Everything else.
You can keep adding to this.
Because I just fell over and I tripped at my house, and then I was carrying Pascal, and then I don't know how to stop Daddy. Because I kept disobeying Daddy, and so he spanked me for that. So because
They spanked you for stamping your foot at me after I told you to stop disobeying me.
it was stumped her foot. Round and round and round, going around in the mommy. Okay, if there's anything else, I have a question. I have to do the video. You hold your stick.
Okay. So basically, though, wait, okay, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna wrap this up. No, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna wrap this up.
Oh, Dad, you're just ridiculous.
I'm not ridiculous.
You're not.
Okay, April. Chill. I'm gonna wrap this up for a second. So, where are we and what is happening? That's the thing of this video. So what's happening is, so we are at this interesting point in history where we have basically the ability to cure every illness except for metabolic dysfunction. Wait, April. Except for metabolic dysfunction, and the ultimate expression of metabolic dysfunction, in my mind, the worst metabolic dysfunction is total insomnia. That, to me, is the worst metabolic dysfunction. It's the worst one I've heard of.
Anything else?
So basically, but this same society that produced that also doesn't listen, doesn't care, is like the reason I'm so hostile is because these doctors and people are perfectly willing to label me as crazy. Like, they're just perfectly willing to label me as crazy. And so, why would I ever, why would I ever trust the tender mercies of people who are so perfectly willing to label me crazy and not listen to me? You know what I'm saying? It's like people have only now really begun listening to me about this. And the more they listen, like, they only listen to me because, in some sense, it's like, no one cared who I was till I put on the mask. It's like, no one cared who I was till I started taking over the world. Like, they just don't. They just don't care. Like, and it's also like, I want to give them something to ridicule. Like, they're going to ridicule me either way. So I'd rather they make fun of me for trying to take over the world than make fun of me for my insomnia solutions. It's also much cooler, more interesting to talk about, and they're going to do better marketing for me this way. And it also makes me harder to ignore because the simple fact of the matter is I have the most coherent ideas about world domination of anyone alive right now. I'm pretty sure. Because again, any plan for world domination involves people, and people need to have metabolism and they need to produce children. And I think I might be the most informed human being on planet Earth about human metabolism right now. I just might be, you know? I'm very open to not being. I'd love to find these people, and I'm always looking for them.
Hey, I forgot.
Okay.
So this is this in my hand.
What is it? It's like a red sparkly thing.
Yeah, it's a red sparkly thing. You can keep it. So I just fell over and then I don't know where to start.
Okay, wait. So I didn't even see you fall over though.
Daddy, I really found it.
So basically though,
Daddy, I really want to make a video.
we are making a video, but I'm wrapping this up.
Well, I want to wrap this up.
You want to wrap this up?
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna wrap this up. So this is the test. So now, April, now you have to let me wrap it up because
I can wrap up my own.
no,
Because you can wrap
No.
it up. You can wrap
April,
it
listen
up.
to me right now. Thank you, April. So I'm gonna wrap this up. Can you please be quiet while I do that, and I'm gonna wrap it up. So where are we right now? What's happening? So what's happening is that the greatest killer of human beings in the Western Hemisphere is abortion. So that's just voluntary suicide. Voluntary suicide has been approved in Canada because they've given up on treating people because they probably just don't understand metabolism at all. Again, so anyone with these metabolic conditions, just murder them. Yeah, no wonder I don't want to go to the medical system because I'm telling them that they're killing people rather than treating them. We are making a video, Katarina. So assisted suicide is now MAID. They call it MAID, medically assisted death. So, nope, not now, no, April. So, you can help me wrap up at the very end. You can talk. So, abortion is currently the #1 cause of death in the United States. So, that's a form of voluntary suicide. Voluntary suicide has been legalized in Canada. Yeah, I don't know. Everyone seems to be in a giant panic, and we seem to be creating a society that is very much not in people's best interests health-wise. And there's a lot of suppression. There's a lot of people who are afraid that if they speak out, they're going to get silenced or they're going to get ostracized or something. So I've just decided to paint a giant target on my face because screw everyone. I don't respect them. Well, no, I do respect a lot of people, but like I just don't respect what's going on right now. Like I don't have. Well, I do respect it insofar as like it's this thing that's going on. It's quite bad. I guess I do respect it. No, I do respect what's going on. I do respect people. What I don't, I guess what I see is this inherent weakness in the structure. I see this. Like, if people knew what I knew, they would think what I thought. So that's why I'm talking online and putting out everything I know. Because I'm like, if people knew what I knew, they'd think what I thought. And in the face of everything that's happening, it seems to me that would make people more optimistic, more goal-oriented, more disciplined, and better able to take reasonable immediate action on relevant, useful information. So that's a good thing. It also kind of inspires people like, hey, you know, you can do this. You can talk your mind. You can raise children. You can raise children while having a business. Like, you can actually do this. You can, this is not, you know, like, I don't know. I like the There Will Be Blood. He brings his kid around and stuff. And it's like, I'm not saying I'm doing that because this is kind of a pain in the butt. And I don't know if this makes me look better. I don't even think my videos get more views because I have my kids in my video. It's just the fact of the matter is, I don't, except those weren't his real kid. That wasn't his real kid. I don't know. It's just like family and business are the same thing. There's a line in April. I'm almost done. Then you can talk. There's a line in The Greatest Salesman on Earth where he says, "I must forever divorce family and business, and so doing remain married to both." And I think that that's completely wrong because essentially the only reason we need school is to teach us how to live in the world. But that's what business is living in the world. So if you simply raised your kids up in the way of business, then you would be able to live in the world. But I think people don't do that because honestly, kids have really high brain metabolism. It makes them annoying to people with low brain metabolism. So then that's where I think a lot of apprentice things come in. It's like, I don't know, like, why was apprenticing such a big thing during the time of the American Revolution? Why do people send their kids away to be raised by other people? Why do this? Why create a culture of this when, I don't know, the books of Maccabees in the Bible are simply the story of how a multi-generational family can stand up to an empire. To me, it seems like a mechanism for preventing multi-generational families from standing up to empires. And that's also the thing with the Jews. Like, why is everyone going on about the Jews? They're just multi-generational families who operate on the principles that I've just described. That's all they do. That's the whole thing. That's it. And they're out competing everyone. Because people just are idiots, I guess. They can't pay attention. I don't know. It's weird to me. Like, it's really weird to me because it's like, but I get it though. Like, I get why people don't think because they don't have time. They don't have the brain metabolism. Like, when I went into the adult world, the age of like 21, I got walloped. I had to work all the time. My health went to crap. My brain didn't work. I couldn't make these videos at that period of time. I could make maybe one video like that a month, and that'd be like it. It would take all that. I mean, I had to think about it for like a month or a few weeks. And it was just like exhausting. It'd be like a 30-minute video. I'd be like, April, I told you when I'm done. It would just be a whole thing. Now I can just crank these out because my brain works. So I'm giving to you through this the ability to make your brain work. To make your brain work.
Again.
Or to see someone's brain work and see someone reason, see someone talk about this stuff. Not because I'm telling you, like, I don't expect you to walk away from this with like a really solid understanding of what I'm talking about. I expect you to walk away from this with a lot of questions and curiosity. And then watch other videos, leave comments below. This is a dialogue, ultimately, and stuff. This is a dialogue. I am talking to real people who do leave me real comments and questions, and I really do respond to them, and that shapes the way I think as it shapes the way you think. And by so doing, people can make use of my brain power. Because I do have a lot of brain power right now, and I've deliberately cultivated it. And I didn't always have this, you know. This is not a constant thing. This takes insane amounts of work and focus to maintain, and it's the whole thing. So basically, I have a suspicion that this trend of separating families throughout the West, maybe that's what's going on. I think that's what's going on. Where are we and what's happening? We are in the West. We are in Western civilization, which has forgotten itself. And what's happening is that families are being separated to prevent people from having the personal power to determine their own lives. That's the answer to this video. Now, April, would you like to add any closing remarks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any marks? Okay, so I just
Actually,
didn't fail, I just tripped and fall, and then I just don't know how to be responsible. I'm just responsible, and then I don't know how to mark this out because I do know how to mark this out.
Keep talking. You're doing a good job.
I need to mark this out because I needed to make a video because Dad's drawing because he just anything else to say and he's writing something out. Because he wants to write down something and so he's writing down something. So you gotta wait for him to stop drawing. Dad, would you please close that book and spill
Not yet. You can keep talking.
So the beans are spilled out because I always listen to my mom and dad. I always listen to my mom and dad because they always are. My dad's probably crazy, and then
I'm not crazy.
Dad's crazy because he just did my video.
Whoops. Okay.
Daddy, here you go.